Alright, so in this video, we'll be talking about the escalating internal divisions within Western societies. You must have noticed the deepening fractures along political, cultural, economic, and social lines in the US as well as Europe. As we can see, the divisions are intensifying, polarization is increasing in the society, opposing views are being taken to the extremes. If we can notice very easily that groups in these societies, in Western societies, are viewing each other not as opponents but as existential threats. This is eroding the trust in institutions, and political violence is rising. The Charlie Kirk shooting is an example of this, the rising political violence. You know that things are not right with the society when questions are being raised on election integrity, that the media is biased, and the lack of trust on institutions that people are showing. They do not trust the government or the media or judiciary in the country. This is a sign of a falling society. Economic stagnation in the Western societies is fueling resentment, and a more serious issue is the identity based conflicts. People are fighting over immigration and culture, and this is being amplified by social media. The social media algorithm amplifies outrage. This is a given fact. Social media platforms create echo chambers, and in these echo chambers, the beliefs of the people get reinforced. Their radical views get amplified, and this is why social media is creating political polarization. It is enabling hate and violence in society. Across social media platforms, we are witnessing unapologetic weaponization of discourse. We are seeing manipulation. The political leaders and elites are orchestrating divisions to distract the people from the problems the country is facing. The internal rifts are being deepened on social media. Rage is being engineered in the citizens. Digital platforms are escalating tensions within the society. The political polarization in the US is evident. The divisions between Democrats and Republicans has surged. The internal fractures in the society are rising. Especially if you see the handling after the conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot at a university rally. This tragedy has acted as a catalyst for enhancing the social fractures. What could have been utilized for uniting the people has acted as a catalyst for enhancing divisions. This is pushing the nation on the brink of a civil war. You must have seen in the news how the Trump administration labeled this incident as an act of war by the radical American left. Clearly, this incident is being used to further the populist and authoritarian tendencies, and this is undermining the democratic norms in US. The handling of this tragedy is exacerbating internal rifts in the US. It is unreal how shock and condolences on social media rapidly turned into calls for retribution. Blame games, conspiracy theories, there were open calls for vengeance. All this is not helping to unite people. This is splintering this US society. This tragedy and the handling of this tragedy is splintering the US society. All this rhetoric, the toxicity that you can see on social media, this left-wing terrorism rhetoric, the threats and harassment being issued, this is reducing the global influence of the US. This is a very ugly handling of the tragedy because it has deepened the us versus them mentality. The way this tragedy has been handled has amplified the polarization in US. It has inflamed the pre-existing divisions in the US. The divisions along the lines of liberal internationalism versus populist nationalism have deepened. People are getting divided into opposing camps. Us versus them dynamics is being played. Hatred and deepening mistrust is clearly evident. There is no room for middle ground. The divisions and differences are becoming sharper. Liberals, as we know, they promote openness, open borders, globalism, multiculturalism, diversity. They are pro-immigration. They back global institutions. On the other hand, populists, they promote nationalism. They want to preserve the culture. Their anti-immigration stance is clear. And they prioritize isolation. This is why you often hear nation first, America first. What is this? Isolation, prioritizing isolation, anti-globalization. That is why it talks about visa restrictions. This is increasing across US and Europe. A case in point is the massive patriot rally in London led by the far right figure Tommy Robinson. This rising anti-immigrant sentiment in the US and now in the UK. In the UK, they are aligning with the US MAGA movement. This is reflecting deeper societal rifts. Across Europe, you can see the rise of populist parties like Germany's AfD and France's National Rally. Populism is rising across Europe. Resentment against diversity, migration, and global engagement is increasing. Protectionism is increasing. Hyper-nationalism is increasing. We can see the surge in radical right-wing movements. No longer the society is a monolithic structure. Differing political factions are now reaching extreme levels. All this is a signal of an impending societal breakdown. The ideological, cultural, and political clashes in the Western society are eroding the post-Second World War liberal democratic understanding. Post-1945, the West built a stable order based on democracy and prosperity. But these societal fractures are hurting West's image of stability and prosperity. We must not forget that strong institutions and welfare systems have led to the economic growth of the West. And now when polarization is increasing, all this is crumbling. This liberals versus conservatives debate, the increasing distrust, sharp divides, viewing each other as adversaries rather than fellow citizens with differing perspectives. This is increasing divisions in the society, the internal strife in the society. And this is not new. The West has a violent past, be it the English Civil War in the mid-17th century or the American Civil War in the 1860s. This strife is not new. And the way things are playing out, we are being reminded of that. The political polarization in the Western society is threatening democratic stability and social cohesion. It is increasing social fragmentation. It is creating internal chaos. And when there is internal chaos in the country, it will invite external powers. It will invite external powers to interfere. They will fill the power vacuum in the country. So, all this internal rift, is giving space to geopolitical meddling. Russia and China can exploit these fractures. They are already doing it. Information warfare is already on social media. The West must understand the Western lack of unity and cohesion will erode Western dominance. It will weaken the collective action. It will reduce their global clout. And other emerging economies will exploit the Western disunity. They are already doing it. So the West is weakening due to internal divisions. Rising powers are challenging the global dominance of the West. And the talks are emerging about the post-Western order. That's why we often hear that the West is falling. The Western society is crumbling.